big question coming into the preseason, with a couple of guys out for the Las Vegas Raiders along their D-line, guys like Jonathan Hankins and all those boys. There was, and also Bilo Nichols, you can't forget about him. He's going to do some big things for the Raiders this year. There was a question. Who's going to step up in the preseason? Who's going to find a way to make an impact? Because once those two come back, it's going to be interesting. Now we've seen some things from the rookies in terms of Matthew Butler as well as Neil Farrell Jr. I still think there's a lot left to be liked. I still have high expectations for those two. It's tough. It's a completely different jump from the college to the NFL. But I'm holding out hope. But one player in particular really showed out against the Vikings. Really impacted the game. Now a lot of people might not have seen a lot of him because it didn't get a sack, didn't have a lot of impact play, it didn't have a lot of statistical plays, but his impact was definitely felt. Andrew Billings is another secret weapon for the Raiders. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, when I say secret weapon, do I mean he's going to go out there and get 10 sacks this year? No, I don't mean that. What I mean is there's a lot of players in the NFL that go out and have huge impacts for the team and don't get any praise for it. That's just how it goes. Specifically for the Vikings, you could have anywhere from, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Impact players, offensive linemen are definitely guys that are named right off the top of my head. But for the Vikings, even guys. Oh, geez, I'm blanking out the top. Oh, Michael Pierce was one. I'm sorry. Michael Pierce was one. Dalvin Tomlinson was another. Like, those guys are great examples for defensive tackles that have a couple of sacks but don't necessarily get all the time and get all the credit that they deserve because they take up double teams. They do a lot of different things for the team, but they don't get that love. They don't get that they don't get it, and it's a shame. But guys like Zach Seiler for the Miami Dolphins are a great example of that. Guys that come in highly rated against the run game, don't get a ton of stats, but it is what it is at this point, that it's just their job. Andrew Billings is that guy for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now this last game, there was a play where he was literally just blew up the Vikings backup center Austin Schlottman. We'll show you that clip in just a second, but a little bit of a background. A former 4th round pick in the 2016 NFL draft, coming out of Baylor, really showed a lot at Baylor. 39 total tackles his senior year with the Bears, 14 tackles for loss and 5.5 sacks, showing that he can do a little bit of both. And then he got drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals, like we mentioned, in the 4th round of the 2016 NFL draft. And, you saw a guy that really was starting to find a niche with the Bengals, but let's be real, it got crowded. A lot of different things going on there. Did opt out due to COVID, I believe. And, it was a little rough after that. Went on with the Cleveland Browns for a year and didn't quite stick there either. So, it was a little rough for him, but I do think he's still one of those players that if you take a look at him on the tape specifically, I think there's a lot to work with. Absolutely. I think there's definitely a lot to work with. And I know that at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of defensive tackles looking for jobs, specifically with the Raiders. But we'll take a look at this clip right here. I'm going to bring it to it if my mouse will work, and I'm going to rewind here in just a second. So we'll go back. So you'll see Andrew Billings is lined up over the center of our backup, the Vikings backup center, Austin Schlottman. You'll see him here literally just blow him back. What's that make Kenny Onwanga do? It makes him have to cut to the opposite side, which was, I believe, it looks like it was a design run play, design dive, excuse me. And if he didn't get blown back there, and then Andrew Billings makes the tackle here. So, again, I know Bilo Nichols and Jonathan Hankins, those guys are going to get theirs, but honestly, this is another secret thing that you want to have on your roster, a guy that can blow up either a gap, that can get after it, and find a way to blow up plays here. You love it. Boom, just Oh, and then he makes the play here. Like that's you. It's one thing to have a guy that can do it against the pass, but to do it against the run too is another thing. So, and I think Andrew Billings can do both, and I think that's desperately needed for the Raiders. And I think they found themselves a guy that can do that for him, and hopefully be another secret weapon for him on the defense to be able to make those other guys, especially in the 3-4, allow those other guys to make plays. And I'm really excited about it. But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. Greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. Down in the description below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. Give us a like and a follow there. Also, remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about Andrew Billings being yet another secret weapon for the Las Vegas Raiders defense.